Alright, so boom. Alright, so I'm the scientist, you feel me? But what I wanted to talk about is the mutation of genes, because a loss and a gain is a loss and a gain of a cell is a mutation, either way it goes. So every day you're mutating, even before people was talking about this, every day you were mutating, but you are always the variant. They've been doing a lot of studies, especially again since 1960s, pretty much being tied in of figuring out how the DNA, the delta DNA, meaning the way it reacts to the light, right? Because delta means sun, it means the sun UV, the ultraviolet. So if delta means ultraviolet, is talking about the ultraviolet, the UVC that's hitting from above, right? That's hitting below. So then they got the gamma, right? The gamma alias codes that ties into your genetics, because the gamma we're tied into gamma, right? We receive gamma radiation. We tap into that brain wave, being that we can tap into our crown chakra, right? So, but that deals with the heat, right? Because light and heat are the reactants to your cell. So this is why they have to keep the planet cool to fight against what they already did wrong. But the thing is, that being said, um, it's not gonna be easy. Like me, I believe in zombies and shit, bro. I don't think everybody's gonna turn into a zombie from that shit, but because that was the secrets of the Knight Templar. Is either they turn into cannibals, sodomites, or nothing changes. And that's also the same definition for variant, which is one's DNA sequence. Hold on, let me like DNA sequence dealing with subdivision, right? So if you're a positive variant, it's like some ascension type shit, because when you're upping your frequency, you're really just producing more cells and they're not dying out, because under the sun they're tripling up, right? That's called cellular subdivision. Is making like one cell into three. Feel me? So say if you were on some negative variant shit, then the wrong cell is duplicating itself while your sodium channels is blocked. So really the only way to even fight against it, you really just have to be on a natural diet, period. Like, cause really when your red blood cells start to begin to die from a sigma or a, feel me, a bang bang, when you get shot by a pistol, you feel me, right? It produces something called pathological blood destruction. Pathological blood destruction is destruction of your red blood cells. And that happens when you get spike proteins dealing with shit that doesn't have nothing to do with you. And even if it did have something to do with your DNA, you're still not supposed to overdrive the you're not supposed to spike anything or overdrive it shit. Like, especially that way, because those animals weren't made to even produce itself that way. So that being said, um it's just it makes the wrong type of cells be able to reproduce, because if your amino acids can't fight back, which is your pretty much like your proteins, uh, your antibodies. If your immune system can't fight back because your metabolism is too slow, meaning that you're too clogged up by a lot of sodium and cholesterol. Really, not even that, by a lot of lactic acid, right? Because that's all it turns into as it starts to break down. The thing is, you can't. I was trying to say you can't take too much of your essence sometimes because it can make another compound and then make another chemical reaction, which will most likely deal with respiratory problems, the same symptoms. It's just like an octopus. If you leave an octopus in its ink too long, then it's going to it's going to make the octopus unable to breathe. It's going to make them have the same symptom as CBID, because that's all it is. CBID is a immunodeficiency. That's what it's mutating to, right? It's a immunodeficiency because it begins to destroy your red blood cells because your red blood cells can't grow. They're just blocked, right? And once shit gets too acidic, it starts to die out because you're an alkaline being, so you're supposed to have alkaline minerals all through you, right? So when it's getting too overcharged by something else like manganese versus magnesium, they put more manganese inside the air through vanadium and barium, which kind of produces rhodium to a certain extent, but that's another story. Well, the radiation produces rhodium, some shit. Um, Let me just not say that because I haven't really some shit like that. But like, but yeah. So let me get back to what I was saying. Variant is another version of something. Variant in medical terms mean any change in DNA sequence of a cell variant may be caused by exposure to DNA damaging agents. This is the key. Any change caused by mistakes. Any change caused by mistakes. So the mistake can be you not knowing that you need to mentally be in a. It's imperative that you're in a heart space right now, because that shit is like. That's why they got drugs that hit you like that. Like when you're in a certain feeling in your sacral and shit. So like say like drugs or liquor, right? So say a person is sad, right? And they got a lot of shit on their mind, they sad. Then they ended up drinking some liquor by themselves. Now they sitting there goddamn crying their little heart out. Like, or they was mad and it just kept making them mad and some shit. But maybe it made them happy. Sometimes it don't do that, depending on where your energy at, or how, if your heart is in the right space, dealing with your emotions and your perspective. Because your perspective is your spirit. The reason you can be in good and bad spirits. So look. So mistakes could be mentally, physically, spiritually, right? Not using your own discernment. Because you can physically kill yourselves, and then mentally by like consumption. I mean, physically by consumption, mentally by visual stimuli, right? And imagination due to your perspective. You can kill yourselves, right? That's why they say it's good to uplift yourself and shit people around you, because you're dealing with cells. You feel me? The cells make the aura once they get charged. But that's the thing. That's why you get more energy, less sleep, because you're having more cells, right? That's more charged up. Then you ground. It helps them get charged up. You feel me? Even if you don't get the sunlight, but grounding, you gonna make the sun shine through. You feel me? It's it's like it's a cycle thing. You feel me? Because the thing is, the 369 is us, and they interrupt the cycle by going along the cycle, right? They time everything along the cycle, dealing not just this pandemic, just fucking everything. Like, that's why the times always correlate with each other. And then it actually goes along, there's no number greater than 9. So there's no months. There's no more months more than 9. And really that starts off from only 3 months, right? Because it's not really seasons until you start having the clouds. It's just summer. So that being said, the only 3 months is really July, August, and September. Or you could say March, April, June. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to the same shit. Cause like the 3 is the 12, the rebirth. When the 3 come around, that's when they time up, right? Cause the 369 is also a time. It's a representation of the time loop also, and how we look at shit in years. 1,000 years is really like 10,000 years or 100 years, but really it just be like 10 years. But that 10 years can also be 1,000 years, and that's just because we're living in a Luciferian system. So when you look at a calendar and it has columns, you feel me? It has columns like this. So say this is the 1990s, 80s, 70s. Alright, so you got your 1700, 18, XX, 19, XX. Alright, so when you count this way, 19 to that would be 1,000 years, right? Oh shit, my bad. I said that wrong. Cause it's supposed to be 1980, 1990, 1970. Alright, so for this little example, cause I did it on one of these videos, and that shit came out right. It's really on Facebook. We got alright, so this going backwards, it would be 990, just like 1994. Yeah, 1994 would have been like 4,991. Then 1884 would have been 4,881. And then 17B, boom, 1, right? So now when you counting it, it's 100 in between the gaps. Whoop de whoop. But that shit get a little deep. Check out the the time videos, just like the first ones on here. Cause that was my downloads. That was good. You feel me? Alright, so back to this shit. Cause I just went totally left by accident. Alright, so any change caused by mistakes during a cell division or they may be caused by exposure to DNA agents in the environment Variants can be harmful, beneficial, or no effects, right? It can be harmful, beneficial, or no effects. Variant stands for V, right? V stands for a lot of shit. It stands for, but we're gonna go with voltage because that's what makes your cells even duplicate, because the voltage is coming from the light and the heat, right? The gamma and the delta, right? Alpha and omega, dealing with the blood. Alright, so, because the blood is the sixth element. The blood has carbon and hydrogen and all the other minerals is in your blood. That's why they test the blood to see what's in you, right? That's the sixth element. That's why these motherfuckers are trying to do a blood sacrifice to fucking Zeus. Goddamn. Well, not even Zeus, but goddamn. Yeah, on some Yakub shit. They're trying to fucking, yeah, bring back somebody, bro. Feel me? Like, vampire type shit. Like, Blade type shit, nigga. Like, that's what that shit for, nigga. It's really a sesame and garlic will fucking work, right? Because the sesame and the garlic, the sesame gets your blood, your sodium channels open, and the garlic, goddamn, does what garlic does. Detoxify the body, right? Real quick. Garlic get in your system, like, ooh, feel me? Alright, so, delta is the light, gamma is the heat, right? Which deals with the ray, right? Or raw. So look. Alright, so that being said, so when you get the pistol shot, right? Pistol heat, the hot sauce, that shit got cause pathological blood destruction, right? When pathological blood destruction happens, your red blood cells begin to die. I'm not laughing like this is funny, but I'm just a little smack. But look, red blood cells begin dying at the spleen, right? So I don't know if like niggas seen like robot movies, because this was like the first thing I thought of when I read that shit. I thought about robots and transhumanism, because to get this to even control, let a robot fuck with your neural links. Reason why they call it a neural link, it has to be attached to the brain and the spine, right? For it to work with no heart. So that's like some zombie shit. So in other words, cause looking at the adjectives of what it is and what it's not. Yeah. So, and then that's coming from people that's trying to play God. Yeah. And then they're naming the shit like, say Xenobot. Xeno means gift of Zeus. Yeah. These niggas tripping. But look, this the thing. This is the planetary secret. Alright, so the thing is, they was doing that to weaken your spleen. This ties back to opioids. because the lipoprotein, right, actually has a transfer of a cholesterol type drug, but that's not supposed to be used for shit like this. Uh, tetroxidin 1. These people in China has a lot of production of the tetroxidin, right? Because of the pufferfish. It's found in the pufferfish. That's what the U.S. discovered when they went to Haiti and was being all nosy and shit. Then they had someone that didn't want to measle in, because it's always like scientists, yeah, they actually like learning shit, because that's what happens when you start learning shit and you actually got your heart space open. So they be having niggas like that fucking researching shit. So that being said, they had sent that man to go back. He didn't want to go back, but he ended up going back. They probably put some shit on bruh, end up dying, or probably end up using the clinical trial on him after the fact. But anyways, because it's always been the same shit. It's just been, how do you make it stronger? Because the UVC, right? It gets rid of it. Especially if you haven't taken the signal. So that's when they had it up on the cloud some more. Because it goes along with a cycle. It's a 3-6-9 cycle. 3-6-9 is the cycle of you and the sun for the indigenous people of this planet. Universal 3-6-9-3 is the cycle of you. So that's why they're interfering the 3-6-9. And it's even the months. Because time isn't real. Time is a measurement of quantum energies. It's a loop, right? It's measurements of a loop. The CMEs and the compass the clock and the compass is actually the compass of the sun. Yeah, the compass, it's the compass of the sun. Dealing with time, 3-6-9. Going over, because it's 3 different, it's like, say you got, it's like your sacral chakra. Say it's like 1-3-6, it's 1-6, then boom, and 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 then boom. Outside of that, outside of that, outside of that, outside of that, about 144 times. Representing the cell. You know what I mean? That's how that shit is. Cause like the direction, right? Like delta means change in movement, but in chemistry it means denote a change in energy levels. Arrows indicate the direction it proceeds in. So to get the measurement of time, you have to do distance times speed, right? So the speed is the frequency, the hertz, or maybe that might be the distance. But dealing with degrees and hertz a lot shows you where it's gonna hit on the map. Dealing with sacred numbers, like 144 degrees east, 0 north, something like that, or maybe it's 144 degrees north, 0 east. That's like the Pacific. Dealing with like China and Los Angeles, more of Los Angeles though, but China's definitely getting hit with it because it's like right there. That's why LA definitely gets hit by a lot of stuff, while China's getting hit by a lot of stuff, because China is actually beside LA, because that's where Lamora is at, right? Cause that shit's actually on. We're on the east side of the map. So say where China is, that's really like where we. That's where we at. You feel me? And then you got like us, then like Eurasia and Africa. I mean, really, you just flip it around. So like Eurasia, where is that? It should be like more in the Pacific, where like Asia and shit should be more in the Pacific, cause Lamora's right there, and 77 degrees. That's where the Indian Sea at in Asia. Oh yeah, we get to it. So 77 degrees, 77 times 2 is 144. 144 is by fucking Cali. So that means you would have to keep going 177. I mean, you have to go 77 degrees east, right? You have to go 77 degrees east. Or, no, yeah. You have to go 100. No, you have to go 77 degrees west if I was to go, if it was right beside um the United States, beside Cali. I would have to go 77 degrees west, right? Just to go that way. So, like, or east just to come this way. Feel me? That's the way I would have to go. So, that being said, that's right there. Then you got Mu, and then Alpha. Alpha being. Alpha is going to be something by New York. And, uh, uh, like New York at 48 or like 46. Feel me? Like New York, like North Atlantic, and then the South Atlantic is like the Bermuda for a B. Feel me? I would really think that's the Alpha one, but no, that's not. Uh, the land though, that's what it's attached to though. That's why you have the dimming of the sun, right? But you see the reflection by the moon. Because it's dealing with almond. It's dealing with the tree of life. So look, because oaks can, it's something about corns, right? I think they got something inside of it that produces a certain gas, right? Dealing with your polytides or some shit. I'm starting to see something about acorns because A means alpha, so this would mean alpha corn. Dealing with your alpha is green, so it must deal with alpha carbon or alpha. No, it has to deal with alpha hydrogen. Because trees hold a lot of hydrogen and get off a lot of carbon. So, why is niggas not eating acorns? Are acorns edible for humans? I mean, it came off a tree, and squirrels eat it and go nuts for it. So, like, acorns edible for humans. Acorns contain tannins, which can be toxic to humans, and cause unpleasant bitter taste. So they're poisonous to horse, cattle, and dogs. But those are animals that've been all of these shits had a fucking virus named after it. All these animals. Anyways, but by leaching acorns to remove the tannin, they can be made safe for consumption. Okay, so you gotta roast them drums. What the fuck is this? Never heard of this. Alright, a yellowish or brownish bitter tasting organic substance present in galls, barks, and other plant tissues, consisting of derivatives of gallic acid used in leather production, and ink manufacturing. Alright, getting somewhere. Tannins have also been reported to exert other physiological effects such as accelerate blood clotting, reduce blood pressure, decrease the serum lipid level, from the lipid protein that is creating sarcolactic acid in the muscles because it's drying up the waters, which makes dams. When you have dams, no blood flow. Now it's getting irritating or feeling like it's getting weaker or some shit because of the way your cells are corresponding. So they're either dying, trying to fight, or just growing. You feel me? In a positive effect or negative effect. But all of this is dealing with everything dealing with CBID, right? Or the pandemic. If you pay attention to what's like really saying, accelerate blood clotting, reduce blood pressure, decrease the serum lipid level, produce liver necrosis, and modulate immuno responses, which is like your nervous system responses, right? Because your immuno is like your immune system. Your immune system deals with your red blood cells, but it also deals with your hemoglobin. That's why, like AIDS or CBID deals with immunoglobin responses. Feel me? So like, because it deals with the immune system dealing with the hemoglobin, and the hemoglobin transports your red blood cells. Well, transports the proteins in your red blood cells to your respiratory system, right? So dealing with what type of spike proteins are you dealing with? Are you dealing with animals? Are you dealing with amino acids? Because amino acids ties to your genetic code. That's why it's pretty much like you eating cells. So when you look at fruit, the way fleshy looks, it looks like cells to a certain extent, right? I remember I did a science experiment on DNA cloning. They did this in school, bro. DNA cloning of a strawberry to extract the DNA from the strawberry. I kept that strawberry shit for so long that at a point it looked like a sperm, right? It looked like a sperm. Ooh, I gotta remember this shit. Because, alright, remember this shit, first of all. Because I might forget, because I just be everywhere sometimes. That's why I should have did it when it was coming. So, this is the sun in the middle. Alright. Alright, so the X is actually a cross. Remember that. So it would be like this. It is like the grid, right? Let me. So, or you could say a magnet up, magnet down. Pretty much makes a magnet. I meant to say you up, you down makes a magnet up, magnet down. Like your feet and your hands. Alright, so look, so that's like harness energy shit. The cross though is an X because of a cycle. And what do cycles do? They go in cycle, right? Just like your recycling sign, right? That's what delta is. So anything that you see dealing with a pyramid is dealing with a cycle, right? Especially if it's pointing up, right? But look, there's something about it though, like, because you got volcanoes, you got certain land masses, you got seas, you got forests, and air that deals with cycles that goes in a current, right? So that being said, cycles can deals with loops. So now that's dealing with quantum energy because that's dealing with time also. So if it's dealing with loops, then that's dealing with portals, right? And if certain portals is getting manipulated, then that means that shit, my shit about to die. It's gonna be the ones tied to the fallen lands, right? That's where they would be at. And if you actually peep game, the sacred numbers are actually where the fallen lands were at, right? I peep the numbers are like the sun, like 77, 144, 48, 46, 72, 27. Really, I don't got nothing for 27, but I'm pretty sure that would be one. Because 27 in my eyes is a powerful number. That's when I ascended, when I was 27. And, or on the Gregorian calendars, using that type of system, it would be 27. Or maybe a little younger, like 19 or some shit. But, I feel like it takes 27 years for a dimension to set place. Feel me? 3 cycles of 9. That's like if you go back from now all the way back just keep going 9 years back, 9 years back to like 1600s. Every time you go 9 years back, peep the significance of that time, right? Just peep the significance of that time, because it's going to show, it's actually going to point out a lot of shit that you want to, like if you want to do research. I mean, I ain't really do it too much, but I promise you it will. Just go back 9 years from 2021. Just keep going back 9 years, 9 years, 9 years, 9 years, 9 years, 9 years. It's always going to be around like a year or two around it. Because, you know, it can't get the 9 without the 3s. So it's always going to deal with that 3. Feel me? Just like 2019, dealing with the 3 of, the 3 years of, the 3 years, which is 2019, 2022. Feel me? But the equinox was the 19th, right? What's today? 21st. Yeah, the equinox was the 19th. It y'all like heated up again. But it's September today. So like that being said that it heated up. Alright, let's get it. Alright, so look, this cycle goes around and around and around. Right? So that deals with how portals open. So when you look at the stars, those are cycles. They were once stars. I mean, they were once suns. So most of them, if not saying that all of them are, but like say like the neutron stars and the black holes, they once was nova. So the black holes, the antimatter, neutron stars, plasma. Alright, so A alpha is for the big O, right? Let me make this a little better. Oh shit. Alright, so look. So it's only an X because the cross is at a tilt, right? So that's when you got like CERN, then you got Sirius, right? CNN, right? Sirius radio, right? AM, alpha mu, which is alpha micron, or mu, alpha micron, which represents alpha omega. Then you got the little o, which represents the O blood, or the blood, right, of the eye, sun blood, right? So then this micron is tied to the Zen, Zeta, Zayin, right? So in the cycle is a zoo, right? They're trying to. So I was looking at what a zoo means. Etymology of azul, New Latin from Greek azus, lifeless, from a entry to zoolife, plus sperma, semen. A entry to A entry 2 plus zoolife. Zoolife deals with like Haitians. Zoolife dealing with Haitians. Got the fucking hater, bro. Anyway, Zoolife talking about Haitians. Entry 2, because the tetraoxygen, right? And they call it a Zetabe, which actually came from Nigeria, the Izo tribe, which deals with the indigenous, the Oma tribe, something like that. The Igbo tribe, the Izo tribe. The Zetabe, that's where they got their discoveries from in Nigeria from, which they use for lipoprotein, which ties back to rhodium, that the clear white slash yellow that turns into yellow acid, lactic acid, or sarcolactic acid, which eats away your flesh, shit like that. But sperma seeds, alright, so according to the user of Georgia, US, the name Azul is of Indian Sanskrit origin. It means God of work, God of labor, God of reward, search for more. Azul stands for Zionist oppression and occupation. How to abbreviate. Azul, the act of a moral discord server into a dating server. Hearth. But Azul is the best admin on Discord. If you think otherwise, they will ban you from existence. If you hate Azul, then you shall perish. The fuck? The act of making a normal Discord server into dating server. Into a dating server. The online gathering place of tightly knit collections of morons, originally intended to be a voice chat app for online gaming, now a hacker? That's what it's saying? Means Urdu to English is organelle. Azul. Azul synonyms words are included. Similar words of Azul are also commonly used in daily talks like Azul Tanasul, Azul Bandi, Kazib, and Azul Koni Wala Panther. Means organelle. This Roman to an Urdu dictionary. So This kind of reminds me of Tennessee, whatever it's called. Oh, Tazi. So it is Alright, penis, genital, male organ. Alright, dealing with the genitals. Meaning sperma, semen, right? Dealing with that genital sperm, male, right? Semen deals with an embryo. I should keep probably. Hey. Semen, cassia. Where the fuck I see that? Cassia. What's it gonna come up? Is the dry mature seed of cassia multiple? Who the fuck is that? Has neuroprotective effects and Parkinson's disease models. Okay, we got some semen cassia. The seed means cassia, probably. Alright, so let's look it up. Is apothecary names for seeds of two species of the plant are dealing with metaphysics. They say cassia semen for the seed. Without semen, that and the seed. So that's just a commonly consumed tea and medicinal food has been shown to have multiple therapeutic actions related to the prevention of dementia and ischemia. In this study, we investigated the effects of extract of cassia semen (CoE) against neurotoxicities in the vitro and in vivo Parkinson's disease models. In PC12 cells, CoE attenuated the cell damage induced by 100 micrograms hydroxydopamine 6-OHDA stress in an MTT assay, and it inhibited the overproduction of the reactive oxygen species. and it inhibited the overproduction of reactive oxygen species, lutein depletion of cells, mitochondrial membrane depolarization, and caspase 3 activation. Cause the decalcification is like how they freeze shit, period. Because the fake ice is fake ice. It's just different compounds reacting to each other to make the ice. So then that makes cold. And a solid, when it's at a lower frequency, is cold. You can get it hot, but it's gonna react different. But as it falls, it's gonna get cold. And the gas and in the gas state, it's gonna look like clouds and shit, right? Which also ties down to opioids and how it stops sodium channels. Because the same thing ties down to perks, all that shit, um, cocaine, and how the shit get clogged up in your lympho and your lymphatic system. It works the same way. So, but this is what I'm seeing now. Alright, so this is with tetrahedron. It's some more tetras, but all them words is tied into the fuckery, right? Because I'm guessing you're fucking tetra. Oh yeah, you got tetra. Tetra is like theta, I think, like theta brainwaves. So it's like, if I'm not, maybe yeah, it's like theta game waves. An increased T turn and TLA, which were no longer in the MPT group. Pole test, the pole test, the magnetism test. Alright, boom. The T cells. Alright, they're talking about the T cells and shit right here. Boom. Because the radicals scavenging activity is the xenobot with the T cell. The xenobot is there to help it actually stay alive against the damn antibodies. To help it plant more eggs and shit so it can duplicate itself. As it's planting more eggs, that's creating that soreness that people may be feeling from the sarcolactic acid, because the sarcolactic acid is like it's water. So then that ties down to the food that's they're selling to us in propaganda as something good. I mean, the ingredients will tell you, but if you look at the shit, ingredients look like the shit that's on this fucking map, on this little summary right here. So it's like that shit just produce sarcolactic acid, which people say they get higher cholesterol. It's just at this time you can't be on that bullshit, especially if you ain't getting sunlight. If you're just dealing with clouds and shit, then you need to be fasting, cause you being outside, you're gonna get fucking sick, cause all the mucus that's being built up from the foods that you're eating, right? So even if you're not mucused up in your sinuses, that don't mean that you're mucused up in your lymphatic system. So then that starts to build up, and as you breathe and it goes through your cycle in your body, that talk like all that dust, because that's all it is. When it's in the air, it's called expoxy dust, which gives you respiratory system and allergies symptoms. So when that happens, it fucked with your head because you didn't know where the fuck it was coming from. Niggas was tripping out neurology. I mean, like they had some crazy problems, like going on. Even I kind of tripped out at one moment. For real, for real. This was like the beginning of my phase, of the waking up phase. Like, I even kind of tripped out, and I was like everything, like I'd be mad about some shit, and it would be like OD, like I shouldn't even been like that. So it was like, but in other people's head, that'd be some Gemini shit. So like, but really, what was going on? It was the fucking clouds. So like, cause that shit get trapped into your mucus. Say I was eating hella chicken, all types of shit. Like I would buy that shit every week, and I cook. I go out and eat. Girl be cooking, all that shit. So when they started hitting us with them clouds from that first August to December in 2019, that's when niggas was getting affected by it. And then once they started peeping that people were getting sick all around and having like the same little reaction from it, then they had the propaganda saying this, that, and the third, so they can move in with this, that, and the third. They hit you with different increments because it's all a science experiment. We're actually in a gas chamber right now. This is the Holocaust shit right now that we're going through. We're literally in a gas chamber. When they're spraying the air quality, because look, they're not going too far out the atmosphere. They're in the atmosphere with it. So they're spraying the atmosphere with chemtrails, right? Sphere. A sphere is like a ball. So us being inside of that ball, where the air is held inside of the sphere, is being gassed except for the right type of air being blown in it. So when the more and more they're doing that, it created the magnetic field to boom. Then that allowed the sun to shine the way it goes normally shine. You feel me? So that, yo, damn, it threw me off. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, cause them clouds, right? That shit was fucking what all types of chakras I didn't even know about. I didn't even know about chakras then. For real. I was just learning, and then boom, some shit clicked. But that's when I actually learned fruit is the amino acids. Cause when I went up, I was like, I started thinking about some shit I heard when I was a kid, and somebody was like, they eat fruits in heaven. So I was like, word. I remember I was a kid, remember that shit. But when I was asking people that shit, they was like, well, they said that up. But anyways, I just thought, uh, in my eyes, that's just how I saw it when I came back. They ate fruit in heaven. So goddamn, when I came back, that's all I fucking wanted. I didn't want no meat. I didn't want none of that shit, bro. None of that shit, bro. And I stayed down. And then the thing is, as I was doing it, I was seeing why. So then that pushed me to even keep going. Because when I was saying I'm a fruitarian, I was saying it as a joke. That was way before I even heard frugivore or anybody talking like that. Like, I was on that shit. Nobody was telling me to eat straight fruit and straight fruit only. I mean, niggas was saying fast. I remember at church, people would fast and shit, like, and they'd be juicing, right? So me, I never did that shit growing up in the church, but my family was. But then I noticed that they never stayed down. They never stayed down with the shit. So I used to peep everybody got buying hot dogs, be like, don't tell your mama, don't tell your dad, some shit like that. Like, don't tell nobody I was eating this shit. Like, they'd tell me because I was a little kid. Don't think I remember, but that fruit, you on a fruit fast under the sun. That's what I'm getting back to. The fruit fast under the sun is helping your cells get back right because you're pretty much your amino acid are pretty much your red blood cells at the end of the day, which are like atoms, right? All types of shit. That's why you start seeing a lot of radioactive type shit when you're eating fruits, right? Because it's the same fucking thing, bro, just in a different state. It was made for you to eat, so you won't even have to worry about that shit. You feel me? It's alkalining you, bro. Then you get the water just so you can alkaline the acidity. Because really, when you start eating a lot of fruit straight, it starts turning your teeth back to clear quartz because it's been calcified by calcium carbonate through your teeth. That's why they look so white. A really clear quartz. That's why the different names ties down to wisdom and all types of shit, or it's tied to different areas, to different nerves, right? Just like your bones, clear quartz, nigga. That's why that shit was hard as fuck. That's why clear quartz actually magnifies you a lot than a lot of other shits. Or rose quartz, clear quartz, rose quartz. That's your bones, your teeth. Same shit, bro. That's why the enamel starts to break down. It doesn't weaken. It's just you have to be putting the right shit on your teeth. Period. So if you were like, say if you were smoking like tobacco products and you were just eating fruits, it could actually look like you've been smoking more tobacco products longer. But at the same time, that's not also true. That's just like if you kept the cigarette on your tooth or the black on your tooth. But at the end of the day, the fruit actually cleans all that shit up too. Whatever stains plaque, because that's what the food does that you're consuming that's wrong for you. It builds plaque. Plaque is pretty much leftovers from the acid, right? Because when your enzymes are hitting it, yeah, it might taste flavorful and all types of shit because it's receptors that fuck with your receptors, just like the fake antibodies and the spike proteins tricked out your antibodies, making it seem like, oh, this is strawberry, oh, this is grape, or some shit like that, and it's not. The trickery, the fuckery, when you thinking it is, that's when you have to experience for yourself, so then the memory picks up on what it experienced, and then from after that, it starts picking up on experiences that's within your genetic code. Because the amino acids, when you're rebuilding your immune system, you're raising your frequency. Because a higher immune system, you get more energy. You're raising your frequency because you're raising your cellular reproduction in the right being a positive variant. Because frequencies tune you, right? So that's why physically, mentally, under the sun, it it starts turning you into a light body being, right? But anyways, let's get back to this. So Cassia semen ties down the Parkinson disease, which is Jakob Parkinson disease, dealing with neurotoxicities in the vitro and the vivo, right? Parkinson's disease. Jakob was Jacob. That's why Jacob Parkinson's disease. Jakob, that's Satan. So this is his disease, right? Prevent DA delta alpha. Pretty much the sun neurons against the toxicities involved in PED, right? Cassia, a seed of cassia has neuroprotective. So known by common name Chinese Center, American sicklepod is a plant and sometimes separated in the monotypic genus. The plant is though by some to produce a laxative effect and to be beneficial to the eyes because it make your shit clean out your system. The green leaves of the plant are fermented and produces a high protein called koa. This is often eaten in Sudan as meat as a substitute. Koa definition is a trick played to deceive people, joke, anything said or done to cause laughter, joke, something that's caused laughter or amusement. The act of which a person catches an unexpected victim and implicated them in a simple or complex, and the culprit attain various assets. That being said, the actors of which a person catches, yep. By this time, bro, they're just doing the same shit.